Okay, so we have done few small questions like the general fraction questions, the simpler ones. I'm giving you one question to solve. You solve this one. 3t plus 6 divided by 3t. Simplify this one.
Can I have access to it, please?
Actually, I can't hear you.
Can I have access to it, please?
Okay. Yes, that's correct. Now moving on to the factorization of algebraic expressions. So you know how to factorize algebraic expressions, right?
Pardon?
Like you know how to factorize algebraic expressions.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the question. Solve this one. What you have to do, you just have to factorize the numerator and also take out the common in denominator also, and then cancel out whatever be the common in numerator and in denominator. So very first thing is factorize the numerator. Okay, so your final answer is x plus 1 divided by 4. Yes, that's correct. Okay, now the next type is adding and subtracting the rational expressions. That means if it's given in this manner. Like how to add and subtract the rational expressions or fractions. So here you can see that the denominator is same, that's y and y. Then what you have to do, you just have to write y.
It's 3y.
Yes,
3
so
and
it's
y.
3 over y. That's correct. Now next is 5 over 3t minus 2 over 7t. So first thing is we have to make the denominator same. and we have to calculate the LCM, that is the lowest common multiple. That means we have to see which is the first or the lowest common multiple that will come, or we can say that can be easily divisible by 3 and 7, and that's 21. Okay, so write 21t in denominator of this. And so what you have to do, you just have to make the denominator 21t. How can you make it? By multiplying 7. But if you are multiplying this by 7, you also have to multiply this by 7 as well. And how can you make this 21? By multiplying 3. So you have to multiply this with 3 also.
Was 29 over 21t.
Yeah, so final answer 29 over 21t. Yes, that's correct. Now you solve this one. Try to solve this. So when the fractions are like this, y plus 4 or y plus 3, then you don't have to calculate the LCM. It's just a multiplication. Their LCM is just a multiplication of these two. That means its LCM is, your denominator should be y plus 4 multiplied by y minus 2. So you have to make the denominator this. So solve this.
I can't write.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that's correct. Now, the next is division of the rational expression. So simple, it's given as divides 4p divided by 6, this is first expression, and divided by the second expression. So what you have to do when the two different expressions are there and you have to divide, so the second number you just have to reciprocal it. So it's 4p divided by 6 multiplied by, now reciprocal this one, we'll get 12 divided by 8. Final answer is 1.
Just p.
So now you solve this one. Yes, that's good. Okay, now I'm uploading a PDF. Okay, so one by one solve these questions.
I can't write. Can you make it a bit bigger, please?
Sorry?
Can you make it a bit bigger, please?
Actually, I can't hear you. Your voice is so low.
Can you make it a bit bigger, please?
Okay. So, like you have an option. You have an option to make it bigger. Like there on the right hand corner, make presentation full screen. Can you see that? That's correct. And it's x plus 3. Numerator, final answer. Okay, now the next slide. You can move on to the next slide. That's good.
Okay.
So this one. Yes. Now next question. Okay. Yes. That's correct. Now next one. Question 5th. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so it's
I
a
haven't
bit.
finished.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
Finished.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now the next one. Okay, correct. Now the next one. Okay, this is correct. Okay, that's correct. So like you can easily do all the types of questions in algebraic fractions. So I'm starting surds. Okay.
Mm.
So you first tell me what do you mean by surds? Just a definition.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So like surds is like if you see a root form anywhere, then it's basically the surds. That means suppose an expression is like this. Root 2 plus 3, root 6, root 7 plus 9. So this kind of expressions, if you see like a root, that is this root form, if you see, then this is basically a surd. Now there are different operations to solve a surd. That is how to add the surd, how to subtract a surd, all these things, and that we'll study in this chapter. So I'm starting with a very simple one. Just to know what exactly root 2 means, like root 2, root 3, what does this mean actually? Actually, it's a power, like you have seen 2 squared, 3 squared. So 2 squared, which means multiply 2 2 times. If it's 2 cube, which means multiply 2 3 times. Now surd is also surd also have power, but power is in fraction. So it's like Root, which means power 1 over 2. That's the basic meaning of this. So like if it's root 3, it means it's 3 to the power 1 over 2. Now there is a value root 2. What's the value of root 2? You know that?
Pardon?
Do you know the value of root 2, like in decimal?
1.41.
Yeah, so it's 1.414 and so on, but generally we use 1.4, 1.414. Then it's root 3. It's 1.732.
1.73.
Yes. Okay. Now let me see how to solve the questions related with the surd or related with the roots. So it's given as the area of square is given as 3 meters square. It's the area of square. Calculate the length of each side. So what's the length of each side? Answer should be up to accurate to 2 decimal place. So it's the area of square. You have to calculate the length of one side of this square.
Pardon?
This is the area of a square. This is 3 meters squared is the area of a square. Area of a square, this is a shape. And calculate this length of its one side. That you have to do.
So do I have to do 3 squared?
It's length of one side. Length of one side. Okay, first tell me what's the area of a square. What's the formula for area of a square?
Alright. Length times width.
Of a square, like of a rectangle's length and breadth. And since length and breadth both are same in a square, so it's L squared. Now L squared is given as 3. Then what's the value of L then? Tell me, it's root 3. If you want to calculate the length, then we have to take root to both the sides and we'll get root 3. And value of root 3 is 1.73. So length of one side of the square is 1.73 meters. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me see the simplify. How can we simplify the roots? So starting, I'm just giving there are 3 general rules that you have to remember or learn. The first is that root A be any number. A represent any number 1, 2, 100, 100 whatsoever. So root A multiplied by root A is equals to why root A multiplied by root A is A? Because root is what I told you 1 over 2 multiplied by A to the power 1 over 2. So this is A. So like in power, it's what, if you know that index, there is a rule a to the power n multiplied by a to the power n. It's what? Tell me.
Is it?
साढ़े दस साढ़े दस
MN?
It's m plus n.
Oh, you have to add them.
Yes, that means it's a to the power 1 over 2, a to the power 1 over 2, which means it's 1 over 2 plus
Add
1 over 2. That means it's a to the power 1 or simply a, and that's the same. That's why root a multiplied by root a is equals to a. Then root ab is equals to root a multiplied by root b. Okay, and third rule is the division. That means you can easily separate out. Root ab can be separated out as root a multiplied by root b. Then it's root a divided by b is equals to root a divided by root b. So whenever we have to simplify, we have to remember these three things. Okay, now simplify root 12. So first thing is to simplify the 12, that is make the factors of 12. So you can write 12 as 4 into 3, or its prime factors are 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. So it's 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. Then use this rule. That means separate out the roots. So you can do root 2 into root 2 into root 3. And you know root a is a, so root 2 is 2. So it's 2 root 3. Clear? Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Solve this one, root 28. like in a irrational form, like just like I have explained you the previous one, it was root 12.
Oh,
So in that form. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Now the next is it's root 18 divided by root 9. So rationalize numerator, then denominator, and then cancel out. Yes, that's correct. Now this is how to simplify. Next is when there is addition or subtraction. The important thing is if the surd is common, you can directly subtract it. Like you can see root 2 and root 2 is common, so you can write root 2 right here. And 5 minus 3 is 2, so it's 2 root 2. Just like it's 5x minus 2x, so it's 3x. So 5x minus 3x is 2x. So it's like if you have same surd, then you can easily subtract or add. Like if this is 8 root 3 plus 6 root 3. Tell me what's the answer. For this one.
okay.
Yes, that's correct. Now, if the number are like this, say 8 root 3 or 3 root 2, since you can see the number inside that root are not same, it's 3, it's 2, that means you can't simplify it further. So it's as it is. So basically, such types of number you can simplify them further. So leave them as it is. Now the next, it's root 12 plus root 27. So what you have to do, search should be always in their most simplified form. Okay, so root 12, root 27 are not the simplified version. So first simplify them and then add them.
Thank you.
Yes. Now the next is root 48 minus root 12. Yes, that's good. Now there is a rectangle given, and its this side is given as 4 root 2, and this is given as 7 root 3. Find the perimeter of this rectangle.
Um,
So this is a rectangle, and you have to find the perimeter of this rectangle.
um,
Okay, first
is
tell
that
me.
7?
I guess
Is that 7?
it's 7 root 3, and it's 4 root 2. And you have to calculate perimeter, which
Okay.
means add all the sides.
Um,
Yes,
Good.
that's good. Okay. Now the next is multiplying and dividing the surds. So multiplying is like, suppose it's given as root 2 multiplied by root 6. So I've told you the 3 rules. So it's like you can do this and write the numbers inside this whole root, which is 2 into 6. So you get ultimately root 12, or you can do here as 2 into 3 into 2, which ultimately gives you answer 2 root 3. So this is how you multiply a surd. Or if it's same like root 2 multiplied by root 2, so you know that answer is 2. So it's given as But one thing is, whether it's whatever be in the multiplication, your answer should be in most simplified version. It's not like your answer is in root 222 or root 1240, something like that. It should be in their simplest form. Now it's root 8 multiplied by root 10. Solve this one. That means find the product and then simplify it. Or you can simplify it in the first step also. So either you can follow this method or this one.
Okay.
So it's root 8 multiplied by root 10.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Now you have to simplify. So I've told you first you have to multiply this and then simplify this. So answer should be in most simplified form. Yes, that's correct. Now next is 2 root 3 multiplied by 3 root 2. So what you have to do, that multiply the numbers separately and multiply the root separately, which means 2 into 3 will give you 6 and this will give you root 6. Okay, so this one is this one I'm solving. So it's 2 into 3 just give you 6. Yes, yes. Okay, you're doing, you just do this question. Yes, that's correct. 6 root 6. Same as you have to divide the surds. So it's, when you divide it also, it should be like this. That when you're multiplying, you're just multiplying surds and numbers, same as you have to do, like divide the numbers and divide the surds. You just have to separate them out. It's 8 root 6 and 2 root 3. Solve this.
Okay.
Okay, that's correct. Okay, now multiplying the brackets. So it's just like how you used to multiply the brackets. So it's root 11, and inside the bracket it's 2 minus root 3. So what you have to do, just multiply this with the first number, that is 2 root 11, and then multiply the, so root 11 multiplied by root 3. So you'll get 2 root 11 minus
square root by 3.
yes. So let me see any question. Okay. So it's 6 multiplied by 4 plus 2 root 3. Yes, that's correct. Now when you have to multiply the brackets, where inside the brackets there are two terms, just like here inside one bracket there are two terms, and outside there is only one term. When inside the brackets, in both the brackets there are two terms. Like I think you know how to solve this, so I'm giving you one question. It's 2 plus root 5 multiplied by 3 plus root 3. So solve this one.
Hmm.
So you just have to do what? 2 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by root 2. Then multiply this with every term inside this bracket. So you know how to multiply the brackets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so solve this one. Okay, so like you're multiplying, you just have to add them, right? I mean, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6 plus 2 multiplied by root 2. That will give you 2 root 2. Plus Root 5 multiplied by 3, you will get 3 root 5. It's root 5 and 3, so it's 3 root 5 plus root 5 into root 2, so it's root 10. That's your final answer. Is this clear?
Okay.
So like what you're doing, you're just doing 2 multiplied by root 2 and your answer was root 4. Root 2 into root 2 is root 4. But 2 is not inside any like whole number, like any surd. It's not inside the root. It's outside the root. So 2 multiplied by root 2 is actually 2 root 2. So it should be like this because there is no procedure to calculate, to multiply a number and a surd. So it should be like this. Okay. And once you multiply every term, in between there should be plus or minus depending on whatever the sign is. So the next is in the same manner you have to simplify this one. Five minus root 3 multiply so solve this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it's 5 into 3 15, then 5 root 2 minus 3 root 3 minus root 6. That's correct. Okay. Now the next is rationalizing the denominator. So before that I'm giving you 2 or 3 questions to solve. So it's 2 plus root 2 multiplied by 2 minus root 2. Solve this one. Yes, that's correct. Okay. And this one. solve this one. Yes, that's correct. Now next is rationalizing the denominator. So the main thing is, if you are solving a surd and a surd number is, or root number is in denominator, it's not acceptable. So you have to rationalize it. Rationalizing meaning to remove the root form from the denominator and to get an integer in denominator. So like if it's root 8 multiplied, root 8 divided by root 6. So you can see that root is in denominator, which is not acceptable. So you have to make root 6, or you can say you have to remove this root. So we can do, how can we remove this root 6? By multiplying a root 6. If I multiply a root 6, definitely root 6 and root 6 will give me 6. But if you are dividing, like if you are doing this, you have to do with the numerator also, because we can change the value of any number. If we are dividing a number with any number, like if we are dividing a fraction with any number, we have to multiply the fraction with the same number in order to maintain its value. So root 6 multiplied by root 6 is 6, and it's root 48. Or if we simplify this root, you tell me what is root 48 if you simplify root 48.
It's 4 square root 3.
Yes, it's 4 root 3 divided by 6. Now 4 and 6 can be divided by 2. So final answer is 2 root 3 divided by 3. So first thing is, if you have to rationalize a number, it means you have to remove the root form from the denominator. So if it's like this, so you have to multiply the same number and divide the same number. Once you do this, you can see that there is an integer number in the denominator, and your answer should be also always, your answer should be in its simplest form. So it's root 48 over 6, but you have to simplify it further, and you'll get 2 root 3 divided by 3.
Okay.
In the same manner, rationalize this one. Root 3 divided by root 2. Yes, that's correct. Okay, one more. This one, 5 divided by 2 root 3. Solve this one. Yes. Now, if in denominator surds are like this, it's 3 divided by 2 plus root 3. In the previous, we were multiplying, dividing with the same number, whatever be in the denominator. Like it's 2 divided by root 6, so we are dividing, multiplying the number by root 6. But here, if we divide and multiply it by 2 plus root 3, still it's not going to remove the root number from the denominator. Like if you do 2 plus root 3 divided by 2 plus root 3 multiplied by 2 plus root 3. So ultimately you have to multiply 2 plus root 3 multiplied by 2 plus root 3. And if you multiply 2 plus root 3 into 2 plus root 3, the answer always contains a root number. So this is, you don't have to do this. What you have to do is, just whatever be the sign before the root number, you have to change that sign. It means it's 3 divided by 2 plus root 3. So you have to divide and multiply by 2 minus root 3. So when you do that, you get 3 multiplied by 2 minus root 3 divided by 2 plus root 3 multiplied by 2 minus root 3 gives you 4 minus 3, that's 1. So final answer is 3 multiplied by 2 minus root 3, or you can open this bracket, which will give you 6 minus 3 root 3. Okay, so this is how you have to simplify. So I'm giving you a question, simplify this or rationalize the denominator. Solve this one.
Hello? Hello? Finished.
Hello.
Finished.
Oh, yes. Now, I'm actually uploading a PDF.
Pardon?
I'm uploading a PDF. Okay, so you want break? Do you want a break?
Oh, okay.
So it's for 15 minutes. Okay, so after 15 minutes, we'll resume this topic. Okay.
Okay.
You are now muted.